Welcome to Not Ashamed. I'm your host, Ashley Nordman, and today I am here with Jacob Hutchins and Will Garner. Thank you guys for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us.
So excited to chat. These are two Georgia boys. Can't talk. Georgia
boys.
These are two Georgia boys. We're here in Georgia, and I am excited to chat with you guys today because you guys hunt all over America. And I mean, I had some of the best chili I've ever had in my life last night. I've never had deer chili before. That was delicious. So shout out to Drew for the deer chili. Drew Norton. That was some great deer chili. It was a little spicy for me, but I also have horrible
That's how we do it in
Yeah. Yeah. And then this morning we went to Jerry's Country Kitchen, had some breakfast.
Yep.
I think they probably looked at me like I had three eyes because
we had some breakfast.
Yeah,
you had egg whites.
I had egg whites with a ton of bacon and
you had a lettuce burger.
Basically, I know. I don't belong.
A little different.
I know, unfortunately. That's all right. All right, so we went coyote hunting last night. How'd that go, boys?
Will?
Yeah, Will?
The overcast weather kind of had them quiet.
Yeah.
But
Let's talk about the error that was made.
Well, what was that, our second stop? Third stop?
Third stop.
We called one in to probably
10 feet.
15 yards.
Yeah, right on top of us.
And we couldn't see him in the scope, and then he kind of ran off into this other field. And I went to pull the trigger on him, and my gun clicked. So we had a little malfunction with the rifle, and we couldn't get a shot. So he got away.
Dang.
Unfortunately.
It happens.
That's all right. I was nervous. I was clenching my hands, trying to. I was I'm about to witness this happen. Yeah, murder, and it didn't happen.
Blood.
That's okay.
And he got away. But we're gonna go back tonight.
Yeah, we're gonna redeem ourselves tonight. All right. So y'all went to Illinois recently and hunted on my property.
Yep.
Met my father. Went to my hometown. How was Illinois? What did you think about that?
It's a lot like Georgia, just colder.
It was
a lot of cornfields.
Yeah. Yes. 30 there feels like 10 degrees. Yeah.
It's a different cold.
It is a different cold. It was 30 this morning and it didn't feel like 30, you know?
No, it was way colder. It's a lot flatter. You don't really have hills.
It's so flat.
It's so flat and open that it's hard to hunt. It's a hard state to hunt, especially without decoys and stuff like that. I mean, we saw a lot of deer. Saw a lot of deer from very far away, and we timed it wrong. I mean, we went in the tail end of really the season up there. So they've been hunted for a month, 2 months already, really.
Yeah.
Super pressured, made a few rookie mistakes, and then the wind killed us. I mean,
and the first day we hunted was right after muzzleloader season. So
shotgun. What's that?
Shotgun season.
Shotgun season, yeah. So we got there on this is the last bow season. I mean, their season's basically over.
Yeah.
So we missed opener, we missed rut. We did catch kind of the tail end of the rut. We saw some bucks running does and everything. If we had gone first week of November, we would have murdered them. We would have killed them. But I mean, I enjoyed it. I had a blast. Y'all have a beautiful place up there.
Yeah, I love it up there.
So you like Oregon, Illinois?
A lot of nice people. Yeah.
As far as hunting trips I've been on, it was the most welcoming place that I've been.
Oh, I love hearing that.
I've been a lot of places.
Yeah, our town's cool like that. I love it. And I grew up around hunting. Everyone there hunts. You either knew somebody who did, your dad did, your brother did, your boyfriend did, whoever. I feel like there's always people that you're associated with that were really big into hunting. And now I realize it's because in Illinois, it's a really great place to go hunting.
It's one of the most reputable deer hunting states in the nation.
Yeah, and I remember when y'all called me, you were like, this is on our bucket list. We want to hunt here. So, yeah.
Your county is one of the biggest deer in Illinois was killed in y'all's county. Or was it the biggest deer?
It's one of the top counties for
deer. Yeah, y'all are right there in the top counties for deer hunting.
The Golden Triangle of Illinois was where the biggest deer in the country was shot at one point in time. So, it's a reputable state for big bucks.
Yeah.
And we'll be back. We'll be back. Get it
plenty of food, water. The soil. It's just everything's
the agriculture. Really good for them. All that corn and soybeans. That's why it's the way that it is.
Yep.
All the big agriculture.
Yep.
Plenty of protein.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All the years of farming, I remember I would just see deer all the time. You'd see it. There's so much wildlife there. So, what got you guys into hunting, originally?
My uncle Like, I mean, my whole family's hunted ever since. I mean, I went on my first deer hunt when I was like 6 or 7. So it's a generational thing. And it's just been like every man in my family has always hunted, and it's kind of been like it's a bonding experience. And that's kind of what got it started for me. I killed my first deer on that first deer hunt with my uncle in South Georgia, and I was addicted. And now, like everything, I want to hunt everything now. And I plan to do the same thing with my kids. So.
Kind of same deal for me. My family was a member in a hunting club in Columbus, Georgia. So I mean, I've been going there since I was born. I mean, there's pictures of me in the deer stand with my dad when I was still had a pacifier in my mouth. Like, I mean, that's
awesome.
It's just how I grew up. It's in my blood. It's all I ever want to do, really.
Yeah. So do you guys hunt? I mean, based on what I saw last night, I feel like you have a lot of friends with properties around here.
Oh yeah.
So you hunt around here a lot. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And like growing up, you did too.
I did. I mean, we moved around a lot. So like back home, I mean, I had my uncle's farm down there. But once I moved away from there, I probably didn't deer hunt for like 4 or 5 years, and it was awful. Like I just didn't have anywhere to go. And then I got my own lease, and I hunted it for 3 years, and then I lost that probably 4 years ago. And ever since that, I'll knock on doors, ask permission. Will's got some spots. It's all about connections.
Yeah.
It's hard to find ground around here because there's so many hunters.
Yeah, like Georgia has. I mean, we have so many hunters, so it's hard to get spots. But it really just comes down to like meeting people and what kind of favors you can. You know, I mean, I've done yard work before to be able to hunt people's property, and that's. I mean, he's got some property. His dad owns property. My parents own a little bit, but most of the places I hunt are places I've just met random people. I mean, I'll DM people on Instagram and ask to go hunt, and most of the time they're pretty generous. I mean, it works out a lot of the time. So.
Yeah, I feel like I picked up on that when you guys were in Illinois because you would just find something and be like, "Hey, do you know this owner?"
Yeah.
Like you were.
Yeah.
What was that app you were on?
We use Onyx.
Yeah.
It shows you the property owner, the
Okay.
property lines, everything.
Yeah, and you're like asking me like, "Do you know the owner here?" I'm like, "Yep." "Do you know this owner?" "Yep." Because I mean, I know all those
it'll show you their
families.
phone number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we drove around right down the road from your place, and we saw like a ton of turkeys out there, and we just waited until the guy was out there doing like some excavating work. We just pulled over on the side of the road and went and talked to him. He ended up saying no, but I mean, I've done that many times. I did it in Tennessee last year. Went up to had one property to hunt, ended up knocking on doors, got other properties to hunt. I mean, it depends on where you're at. Sometimes they'll let you, sometimes they won't, but it doesn't hurt to ask.
Yeah, exactly.
The more doors you knock on, the more chance you have to hunt their property.
I mean,
or to hunt somebody's property.
2 of the deer I'm hunting right now are on 5 acres in the middle of town from the waitress at Jerry's that we met. You know?
Right.
So, and she lets us go whenever we want, don't have to ask, lets us do whatever we want. And sometimes like we'll offer the meat, you know, say, hey, if you kill something, you can have the meat. But a lot of times people just don't care. If they don't hunt, they're like, well, whatever, you can have at it.
Right. So I know like this year you guys traveled a lot.
Yep.
Do you prefer to travel to hunt, or like where do you like to go?
I would rather travel anywhere to hunt but Georgia.
Yeah.
Really? Like you're over it? You don't want to be here anymore to
The
hunt?
population is just
It's bad.
not very dense in Georgia.
There's just
anymore.
too many hunters.
A lot of pressure.
Our turkey population's in decline. Our deer don't get very big because a lot of people kill young deer around here. I like to travel and hunt just because I enjoy the process of traveling. I like going somewhere that I've never been before and
Yeah, I agree
then
with that.
finding deer. Like for me, even it's not always about killing something. Like we've been places, and I mean, we've said this 100 times. Like there are people that could not just walk onto like 60,000 acres in the middle of nowhere, Ohio, hike for 2.5 hours through the woods and find deer and watch deer and film deer. I mean, we had the opportunity to kill some deer up there. We didn't. We let them walk, but like a lot of people couldn't do that. So it's still rewarding, even just going out, driving 10 hours through the night, waking up on the side of the road and finding deer. It's a reward, in and of itself. So I like to do that more than hunting at home. Home gets boring for me.
And it is fun to harvest the animal, but like
Yeah.
you said, I mean, traveling with your buddies and just having
Like
a good
making a
time,
trip out of it.
conversation.
Like all that bonding time.
When you're in a vehicle for 10 hours, 10, 14 hours,
you
you
know each other pretty good.
You get close.
You get-
Pretty
yeah.
good.
talk
Sleeping
about
in the truck
everything.
together, sleeping in
full size bed.
Hotel beds. Yeah.
Paddle wheeling.
Just putting a pillow between you.
Yeah.
I mean, you learn a lot about each other, and a lot. I mean, I've hunted with guys. I hunted with a lot of different guys, and there's only a few that I can. I mean, Will's probably the only person that I can consistently take long trips like that and not want to kill him.
Yeah, he's basically your
It's
brother.
like, yeah, like most of the time. I mean, I've gone on hunting trips with guys before, and by the end of it, it's like, okay, we're not friends anymore. Like,
Yeah.
your habits drive
You learn
me
a lot.
crazy. You have no hygiene.
Yep.
Like I just can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
So it
So-
works out with us.
Okay, cool. I love that. So where is your favorite place that you've gone hunting so far?
Probably Kentucky.
I don't know. I really like Texas. I love Texas.
I love Texas. I mean, you see a lot of deer out there,
you
but
see a ton of deer.
you just don't see a
Hundreds
lot of
of deer every
shooters.
day.
Do you ever go to Colorado?
No, but
I haven't had a
it's on the
chance.
list.
I feel like that's like the first place
It's
I
on the
think of,
list.
like Colorado, Montana.
I've been to, I didn't hunt while I was in Montana,
Mm-hmm.
but it's one of my favorite places I've gone. I saw a lot of elk, bighorn sheep.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I had hunted while I was there, but I don't know. I think Texas is probably my favorite. I've killed a good amount of animals. in
My
Texas.
favorite is Kentucky just because I've seen so many more shooters.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of bigger deer there. I mean, and I love the rocky terrain. It's just really, it's beautiful.
Illinois is my second favorite for sure.
Yeah.
Just because of the environment, because of the people that were there, some of the friends we made and stuff like that.
I love the farmland and
Yeah.
prairies,
Yeah.
and I just,
I'm gonna have a new favorite by the end of this year because we have some pretty. I think I'm gonna go to Mexico this year.
Really?
I got an invite to Mexico, upstate New York.
Upstate New York's beautiful.
yeah, it is.
We got an invite to Kentucky. I'm going on a mule deer and pronghorn hunt in Wyoming, so that might take the cake depending on how that goes.
Wyoming is amazing.
Yeah.
When I went to Jackson Hole, it was insane. I saw like moose,
Yeah.
whatever you call them.
And moose are huge.
Is
Like
it
they're
moose?
It's
freaking.
moose,
They're
yeah.
as big as cars.
Yeah, they were
First time
huge.
Plural
I-
and singular.
Yeah.
They were scary.
Yeah, the first time I saw one in person was in Maine on the side of the interstate, and it was as big as the car that I was in.
Yeah.
It was a freaking massive bull.
I just remember being at a ski resort and walking outside and being like deathly afraid because this moose was huge, like
They're probably
enormous.
they're
2,000 to 3,000 pounds.
Oh yeah,
easily.
they're enormous.
Easily.
So what's your favorite game to hunt?
Turkeys.
Really?
I freaking love turkeys.
What about you?
I haven't done it in a few years, but I would probably say duck hunting. Just
Okay.
because, I mean, that was
I like duck hunting.
that was my thing. I mean, for probably 5 years, that's all I did. I mean, I would deer hunt for bow season, and then I would duck hunt the rest of the year when it opened.
So those videos you were showing me with that dog with its tail straight up, was that duck hunting?
That was quail hunting.
Oh, quail hunting?
Yeah.
Quail hunting's fun.
Yeah.
That I mean, the fun part about that is watching the dogs work.
Do you have to take a dog with you?
I mean,
It's
Like you pretty much
you
should.
need to.
It's preferable,
You gotta have the 2 pointers. That's who's finding the birds.
yeah.
And then you have
Okay.
your flusher, which is the cocker usually, cocker spaniel. And
Oh, okay. So you have
once,
3
once
dogs?
they point, you have the cocker flush,
Yeah.
and then the little.
I had no idea. I thought you just
It's
had one
a-
dog
it's
and
a
it
whole,
sniffed
like,
it out like a
science to it.
canine.
Yeah, like I mean, and sometimes they get on a covey of 10 quail.
Yeah.
So when that cocker runs in there and flushes them out, I mean, you'll have 10 birds fly up. So I mean, it's a lot of fun to watch those dogs work.
I just like turkey hunting because it's so interactive. I mean, you have to literally communicate with the bird. You got to work the bird. You got to understand what they're saying back. You got to account for hens, toms. I mean, I hunt public ground a lot for turkeys, so you got other hunters. You got terrain you've never been to before, and then like the success. I mean, the first time I killed a big tom, like I literally cried. I mean, I had done it. I had chased that bird for so long. And it was the most, I mean, that's the favorite hunt I've ever been on. It was right down the road in Heard County, Georgia. And after that, I was like, I mean, I've been addicted to it.
That's why I love duck hunting. I mean, I love talking to them,
Yeah.
and I love shooting them. Don't get me wrong, but I mean,
Yeah.
I really like talking to them and working them and watching them listen to you pretty much. I mean, it's just
It takes a lot of skill. I mean, turkey
Fun
hunting and duck hunting. Like,
experience. Yeah.
I mean, deer hunting's fun, but I mean, the reality is, if you have a good piece of land, you can go sit in a tree and kill a deer.
Yeah. You have to be more
Anytime.
strategic
Yeah,
probably with
like,
the others.
The other
and it's
thing
fun to
is
shoot
you
a
gotta-
giant deer.
Yeah, I mean,
Don't get me wrong, but
I can't relate.
you don't communicate as much. It's a lot of sitting
Yeah.
and not moving. Duck hunting, I mean,
It definitely takes more patience.
duck hunting, turkey hunting, whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
you're moving around more. It's more upbeat.
Yeah.
You're not
Yeah.
gonna be quiet the whole time. I mean,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah, I definitely feel like the sport involves so much patience and persistence and like having a goal, even if you don't get there, you realize it's going to take a lot of time and
Yeah.
strategy to
Yeah.
get there.
That's why deer hunting's it's a lot more fun in the early season but it'll start kicking your tail and then late.
Yeah, like I'm tired of it at this point.
Really?
I'm ready for deer season to be over.
Yeah.
I still go because I force myself to go, but like I'm ready for it to be done. I'm just ready to go turkey hunting.
I feel like the sport has like grown so much lately too. Like I just hear about it everywhere. I see it everywhere. Do you feel like it's growing a lot
I think it
in popularity?
did a lot during COVID.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there was nothing else to do.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was shut down. I think a lot of people that weren't really interested in it kind of got into more hunting related. I mean, it's always been popular around here, anyways. It's always been very popular.
Yeah.
Everybody I know hunts something, but during COVID, like public land was loaded. I mean, you'd have people that had never been to the woods before, no idea what they're doing, and they're just out there tromping around,
Yeah.
scaring everything off.
They started the quarantine deal like right as turkey season started.
Yeah.
So people would just go
I mean,
out.
that's what I did during.
Yeah, you're like, we have all this time. Why
That's when
not?
more
Yeah.
people started golfing and
Yeah, people were
Yeah.
outside like crazy. You're right. I thought that did help it explode.
Yeah.
all the stores closed.
It kind of sucks. I mean, around here, you don't want people going to public ground all the
Yeah.
time, especially when you've spent so much time trying to pattern animals. And I mean, I've been on public ground that nobody knew about before, and it was kind of my little honey hole. And then you got people that have no idea what they're doing out, and I mean, they'll ruin it. You take one piece of public dirt and one season of stuff like that, and it's toast. You might as well not go back for a while.
Yeah.
All that pressure.
So do you think next year that you will try to go to more private properties?
I think so, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we'll probably focus more on like quality over quantity.
Especially
Like,
after this year, because you
really-
went
I mean, we went everywhere this
to
year.
a lot of places. It sounded like.
I started in Georgia. I went to obviously Alabama, Tennessee, Ohio, Illinois, Texas. I think I went somewhere else.
I think they covered it.
Yeah, I mean, it did.
That's about the same for
But
me.
that's a lot in a short amount of time.
So
Because when
much
did the
that's
season
right.
really start? When you started hunting? traveling?
Deer season. I mean, deer season is when I took the most trips. I took that Tennessee trip for turkey season, and I hunted in Alabama during turkey season and deer season. But most of our trips were in. I think we took our first one.
Well, it
in
helps too
October.
because like every state has a different hunting season.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, if you
Different-
hunt
different
multiple
dates.
states, you can hunt for 6 months.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. I guess I just
Not
thought it was
6,
like
but-
everything
Yeah,
opens
but
on
a
this
lot.
day.
You can really
It's like
stretch it out.
5 months.
Yeah, you can really stretch it out, especially if you're doing turkeys like ducks and deer. I mean, you can spend a lot of time
Yeah.
and a lot of money.
Yeah.
I spent too much money this year, way too much.
I feel like when you have a hobby that's a sport like that, though, it's just a slippery slope with.
Well, when you take
It
a trip,
is.
it's like you try to have a budget, and then you get there, and something goes wrong.
Yeah, or
and you're
something
like, well,
breaks.
I'm here, I gotta buy it. Or like in Illinois, I mean, you get there, check into the hotel, that was $600. Go buy your license, that's $600. Gear breaks. I mean, my rangefinder broke. Will's bow got tore up. And
It's always something.
yeah, like you're not gonna
Yeah.
turn around and drive home. Like you're already up there. So
Yeah.
after you've already spent
And all the tags and stuff,
like,
yeah.
you already spent $1,500. It's like, well, what's another couple hundred here, couple hundred there? And then by the time you come home and you spent $3,000 for a week, and you're like, wow, that
Yeah.
kind of hurts. Like,
If it ain't one thing, it's another.
yeah, like it kind of sucks. But and, I mean, you learn a lot through that, and that's why I mean, the trips that I'm working on booking right now, like I'm booking private ground. I'm going with guys that have hunted there before, like trying to not just go in blind and to be a little more smarter about it. I mean, we jumped the gun a little bit this year on some of the trips. I mean, when we went to Ohio, like we knew it was a toss up. We knew it was a toss up that we might not even see anything. I mean, going to public ground 10 hours away, you never know. Like it could be trash.
Just gotta get your boots on the ground and figure it
Yeah,
out.
we
pretty
just got to
much.
put in the work. A lot of people don't like to do that. A lot of people don't. I mean, I enjoy it. He enjoys it. I like hiking for hours with a 60-pound backpack and camera gear and a bow and my stand and all that. Like I love it. But a lot of people won't do it. They can't stand it. I mean, we got buddies that like if they can't drive to the stand and walk up a ladder and sit down and see deer, they ain't hunting.
I feel like it kind of goes back to everything in life, though, like your work ethic and how much you're willing to put
Absolutely.
in, you know? If
No
you want the
doubt.
easy way out, you're probably not going to get
Absolutely.
what you're wanting anyway, you know?
Well, I mean, it's much more rewarding. I'd rather go shoot a 120-inch deer on public ground than go to an outfitter and shoot a 170
Yeah.
that I paid $3,000 to kill.
You'd rather earn
I
it
mean, it's
and like,
basically on a leash.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, and even not having success, like we really haven't had much success this year. I had a little bit during turkey season, deer season. I mean, we've pretty much gotten blown out, but it's still.
We could have killed deer.
Yeah, I mean, we could have killed deer. I passed
Plenty.
I passed a really mature buck last week actually, and I mean, he came in literally 6 yards, drew on him, broadside, perfect shot, and he just wasn't what I wanted. I filmed him and let him walk. Looking back now, I kind of wish I had shot him, but it's just part of it, you know. And that to me, that's just as rewarding as killing the deer. Like that deer, from my perspective, is dead. Like I could have killed him like that. Easy shot. I mean, he was.
I don't know, you might have missed.
Ain't no way. Ain't no way I would have missed that deer. You know, knowing that I tricked him, knowing that he had no idea it was there, drew on him, like everything happened but the shot, and then I chose not to take the shot because I wanted, you know, a different deer, even though this was a mature buck. And so for me, I mean, that's rewarding enough. I won. I beat him, so it's good enough for me.
what's your weapon of choice?
Long spear, blowgun.
A what?
A blowgun.
What's a
Or
blowgun?
spear. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, I was like,
I'm kidding.
What?
Definitely a bow.
Yeah.
Definitely a bow. And it used to not be that way. I rifle hunted my whole life. I bow hunted a few years ago. I didn't really enjoy it very much, and so I sold everything. And then I actually just got back into bow hunting this season, and I'm glad I did. I mean,
It's so much better.
it's harder. I mean,
Yeah.
it's freaking.
It's a challenge.
I've had a lot of animals that didn't get killed. In fact, like one of our target bucks, really old, mature, beautiful deer. I mean, a freaking just gorgeous deer. We could have killed him with a rifle. I mean, he came in 53 yards in the thicket. You know, couldn't get a shot at him with a bow. If I'd had a rifle, I would have dropped him.
yeah.
So that kind of sucks, but at the same time, killing him with a bow would be much more.
He tried to say he was going to bring a gun out there, and I told him he wasn't going to.
I thought about it. I really thought about it. I thought about busting out the 308, but I want to shoot with a bow.
So much more rewarding with a bow.
Yeah. I feel like it's fun too. Like when we were shooting the crossbows yesterday, like, I don't know, you feel
Well, that was you shot a compound.
You shot a real-
Oh,
yeah, you shot
compound.
That was a real deal.
What am I
yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Compound? What did I just say? Crossbow?
You said
Is
crossbow.
that wrong?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the crossbow is the one that like goes
Yeah.
flat. We were doing
You shot the Iwasaki bow.
yeah.
The compound. Yeah.
That was fun. Like I feel like you feel like a badass when you're just like
Which is, I mean,
When you draw a bow and then it goes where you want it to go, it's a pretty good feeling.
It's like gotta be such a good feeling.
well, you
We're
have
like,
to get so much closer to them.
Yeah.
If you shoot a deer at 300 yards, you just don't hear
It's just
the
different.
impact.
Yeah.
Like, you
It's
don't
just
hear them
different.
when they're 10, 20 yards away
Yeah.
from you. You hear the process of the
And I mean,
kill.
Will shoots
Like,
out to. I mean, you shot a deer 97 yards with a bow,
wow.
which is like
That's far.
that's one of
I
the.
feel like that's far.
It's very far.
That's probably my biggest accomplishment. with
The
a bow.
longest recorded. In fact, my buddy shot this deer like 2 weeks ago. It's the longest recorded whitetail bow kill on film, I guess is what the technical term would be. But he documented the whole thing, and it was 110 yards.
Wow.
And he shot it.
You're close.
And
You
I
could
mean,
be
you're
in
right behind
A
me.
record.
So
So it was
you're probably
like,
the second.
I didn't get it on film.
If it was
though.
on film,
Yeah.
you'd be the
Yeah.
second. But
were
yeah,
you there?
yeah,
Did you see it?
No.
No?
No, I wish I was.
Damn.
But I mean, I'll.
And somehow shot her right in the heart
Yeah.
from 97 yards.
Yeah.
That's a little luck. I'm not saying that it was all skill, but
Yeah.
you know.
And that this was you when you got it with your bow.
He's the best
Yeah.
bow shot I know.
That's
By
insane.
far. It ain't even close.
Wow.
Like you could easily shoot a deer at 120 yards. Not easily, but I,
think
mean,
so,
you
too,
could do
maybe.
it. I mean, we practice it.
You're gonna make me blush, man.
So was that like your best kill, you'd say? Or the one that you're
Yeah,
most
I mean,
proud of?
It was just.
No, that 140 is that 140.
Yeah, I mean it's not my biggest accomplishment deer hunting wise, but I mean, just
pretty impressive.
I mean, a 97-yard bow shot is probably like a 400-yard rifle shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
To put it in comparison.
I mean, the
but-
longest I've shot, I shot a coyote at like 300 and change, and I missed a deer at almost 700, and I shot, and I was close, but I mean, you know, when you get out to that distance, like you got to account for wind and a lot of like there's mathematics involved and things like that. You need certain type of optics and stuff. I mean, a lot of people load their own rounds so they can shoot that far. And I just eyeballed it, I guess. And I was close, but if I had shot that deer, that'd be one of my favorite accomplishments for sure. I mean, it was a freaking poke. It was way out there.
I have to ask.
Oh boy.
What?
To women who are out there that are like married to hunters or dating a hunter, or maybe they have a dad that's a
I'm
hunter.
sorry, it sucks for you. I hate it, but
What advice do you have for the ladies?
you can use our
Let me tell them.
use the line. Yeah, use the line. I have something else to say, so you use the line.
So, if Target was open 3 months out of the year, I think most women would be there every day.
At least every other day.
Yeah, probably twice a day.
At least every
Probably
other
3
day.
Yeah,
times
I mean,
a day. Let's be real.
At least you would at least go every weekend that you didn't have to work.
Yeah, you would
Yeah,
go
and
all
that's
the
it,
time.
like,
Us during deer season, we only have 3-4 months, but I mean, if you have a full time job
Yeah.
like we do, you can't hunt every day.
Yeah.
You get
So,
your
yeah.
weekends. You get your weekends and a little bit of PTO.
If Target was open, 3 months out of the year, you'd be there every day.
All right, ladies. So when the men go hunting, just think of it that way. If
Well,
Target
and-
only had a small period of
Yeah.
time that it was open, you'd be
And
going too.
I say this all the time, like if your significant other or husband or whatever, or I mean your wife even, I mean there's a lot of ladies that like to hunt too. If they go so much that it's like almost a problem in your relationship, then understand like how much it means to them. Like they're not just going because they like to kill animals.
Yeah, it's
Like,
therapy.
They're going for therapy, peace. Like I mean, people find God in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
No
It's always been that way. So you just gotta understand that. I mean, they're not trying to get away from you. Hell, they probably like you to go with them if you ask.
Yeah.
It's such a break from
And,
reality.
yeah,
Like
like,
it,
You
I think it
always-
helps the relationship because
Yeah.
it lets them blow off some steam.
And
Yeah.
there are way worse hobbies.
For sure.
Way
no
freaking
doubt.
worse.
I couldn't agree more.
If he's going that much that you got to sit down and talk to him about it, then it must really mean something to him.
Mm-hmm.
So just I don't know. I've definitely lost relationships over hunting.
Well,
And she wasn't for you.
She was not for me.
if you look at it
Not
this
for me at
way,
all.
most men who hunt, you're not going to be going to the bar on the weekend. because
Facts.
Yeah.
You're not going to stay out till 2,
I'd rather
3
you be out in the
a.m.
woods than in a bar.
You can't
so
cheat if you're in the middle of nowhere with no cell service.
true that.
I mean, that's just the way.
I mean,
it
in
is.
Ohio at that one WMA, we
Not a
had
lick of service.
literally zero service.
None.
I mean, if we would have,
I mean,
Fell out
I
of a
was
tree,
so
we
far
probably would've-
removed that I found my way back to the truck by using like literal geography.
I honestly love that.
I knew that from where I
And a
was.
compass.
Yeah, like I knew from where I was on the top of a mountain. I knew that if I went straight down to the mountain and found a riverbed, I could follow the riverbed back to the truck. That it would take me to the main road, and then I could find the truck. And that's what I did. I climbed out of the tree. It was dark. Slid down the mountain. Like it was. I mean, I literally slid on my butt down to the creek bed and hiked out.
I love it.
So
Well, thank you guys for being here.
absolutely.
I think we'll definitely have to do another one later once we get a
think so.
coyote.
yeah, absolutely.
We'll recap tonight with some
Yeah.
footage.
Yeah,
We can
exactly.
plug all the footage
Oh, hey,
if
we
you
didn't
want.
get any last night, but the weather kind of screwed us up. I mean, it's overcast.
Technical
Till next time, we
difficulties.
will.
And some technical difficulties, but stuff happens.
It happens. We'll get them tonight.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Well, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Visit us at AN Skin Beauty to shop all of our medical grade skincare products.